Just Eff It. Hi, I'm Romy.
Hi, and I'm Carla.
And together we are the EFFing
Madres.
Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring Madres
who have changed their lives through an Eff It moment. So here we go. Just Eff It.
Happy Monday.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Monday Madres, Monday motivation.
Camaraderie Monday. All the
Monday
Mondays.
break your nail. This is mom life.
Yeah, that sucks.
It's one of those days, Carla. But you know what? We're here to motivate. We're here to say fuck it. Who are we, Carla?
Well, I am Carla. She is Romy. We are the Eff It Madres, and we are two moms who decided to say Eff It and start this podcast because we were at a point where we were like, we need to fucking make a change in our lives. And so why don't we talk to other moms that have made changes in their lives or they want to or, are in the midst of it. And so this is a community of moms supporting moms, madres supporting madres, through these big life-changing Eff It moments that change the trajectory of their lives and that of their families. And they're important conversations. And we hope that someone out there listening who is like on the verge of taking that step after hearing these stories is motivated to take that step, because that is always the hardest thing. It's always the hardest thing to take the first step. But once you get rolling, you can get going. So hopefully this motivates you to get there. So yeah, that's who we are.
And who do we have on today? I believe this is a madre that we got from one of our very special madres, Leslie, yes, who was on our show. Leslie did the event with us. She was one of our first moms on here, and she has been so kind to refer other amazing moms, yes, madres. And so if any of you guys have amazing madres, send them our way.
Yes. Well, her name is Clara Campano. I hope I'm saying that right.
I love that you always say the names to come in, because if you mess it up, I have no shot.
Yeah, well, I've butchered quite a few, but yes, I guess
I stand no chance. I stand no
chance. She shared two Eff It moments with me. I'm just going to let her choose whichever one it is that she wants to share, because we just want people to share what was most impactful for them in their lives. I think some people come on wanting to be like mindful of the audience, but for us, it's like, no, fuck that. Like, share your story, because your story will impact someone no matter what it is. So like, don't try to, just do you. Like, this is us doing us. So you do you and share what makes you happy and what you feel is most impactful. So I told her to do that. And so we'll see which one she chooses.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear her. I'm also completely distracted by your arm muscles since you decided to put your arm up. So that's all I was focusing on. And so that makes me feel great on this Monday, Carla.
Well, whatever. I don't know. I can't apologize for it. I just
don't apologize. You're a strong ass woman. I was like, damn, arms. Okay.
All right. We're going to bring her in a second. Clara Campano. She is here. And Clara, we are just going to jump right in for you to share an Eff It moment with us. So the first question is, when did you decide to just Eff It and why?
Great question. And first of all, I love what you are doing, because I think so many times in our life, we have to have that moment and have the courage to just say Eff it and start living on our own terms. What I want to talk about is, I've had a few going on, but the one I want to really talk about now happened over COVID. And, COVID was such a strange time for so many of us. And I'm not even going to sugarcoat it, because it was pretty crappy on many different levels. But for me, it really caused me to just reapproach my life and say Eff it to the way that I had been living and start to, really take back control of my life. What I had been doing is I'd been doing speaking, consulting, and writing, and all of that was great. But I had put most of my eggs in one basket of working as an independent contractor for a company. And even though it was fantastic and I was really enjoying it, I didn't realize that I had become very complacent and that I had given my future to somebody else. And when COVID hit and all of a sudden I couldn't go on the road anymore, I completely lost everything. Mm. And it was a real awakening moment that even though I was doing something that I really loved, I had given up my own path. I had given up my own creativity, and that started to stifle me. And so COVID really caused me to pivot and to say, you know what? I need to start betting on myself because I had forgotten about me. And I had found a way to take the safe path rather than the courageous path.
I really like how you said that. That's such a great sentence and so powerful. And probably if you had to like give this podcast a sentence, you know, it'd be like not effing taking the safe path. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
And we do that so often.
And like I think so many of us felt that way through COVID. And it was a
Yeah.
blessing in some ways, right? It was
Yeah.
it was
Well, and I
yeah.
think as so many moms, since we're speaking mostly to moms, and that's my target audience too, is, sometimes we do take that safe path because we have kids to raise. We want to keep the household. We want to minimize stress and drama. But what we forget is that when we do that, we don't live in our own light. And quite frankly, I have more security in myself and by doing what is right for me. And it was such a breath of fresh air. And it had a lot of problems because when I went to my company and I said, hey, I have to start reinventing myself, I don't want to leave you. They actually were not as positive out of the gate as I had expected. And they started making it more about them. Are you leaving us? Are you not happy? What are you doing? Are you going to start taking business from us? And I was like, no, there's so much more abundance, and what you have to realize is a big part of our target audience, because this had a big platform in real estate. I'm like, over 50% of realtors are women. So let's talk about this. And, there's so much more that we can do. And, being able to stand up and have, again, the courage to speak my truth and to say, this isn't about you. This is also about me. And when I am stronger, I'm going to be able to give so much more to you as a company. And it was almost like this re-energizing and re-emergence of everything that I'm doing. And I just kind of felt like I was taking off again. And I really encourage people, again, to just not take the safe route all the time and to really, again, start betting on themselves.
I love how you said, like, it's almost like this is what I was just hearing you. I don't know if this is the word you said. Sorry, but I was taking it away. It's like the safety that us as moms feel we're doing for our children and our family is to stick by the rules. This is how we make it work. This is how we keep us safe. The reality is, if we're not taking care of ourselves, no one is safe. Despite the walls that we have put up in our home, no one is safe in the home. If the mother is like, not full, not completed, not well, not healthy, not happy.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what home you put the family in.
And I was feeling my creativity was stifled. I wasn't feeling as energized, as enthusiastic. I almost started feeling a bit of that imposter syndrome, or just, I was just on autopilot, and I don't want to live on autopilot. And, when we do that, what are the messages we're giving to our children?
Yes. 100%. We talk about that all the time. And like, just like you, like during COVID and a little bit after, I was complacent too. This is why, like, where I'm at now, even though I'm like hating the journey right now, it is super uncomfortable, but that's exactly where I was. Super complacent.
Yep.
And if things just come easy to you, like, what sort of motivation do you have to just step out of that? You yourself have to force yourself to get out of it. And when you're able to do that, it's going to feel crappy, at least in the beginning, but it's going to pay off. Like, I know this is, for me, is going to pay off because it always has in the past. Whenever you make these uncomfortable decisions, they do. And it is for the benefit of your family, because your kids are going to look at you and be like, look what my mom did for herself. I need to do that for me, because that's the lesson she taught me, to be mindful of my values and my love for myself. So good for you for doing that.
Yeah. And, since that time, I wrote 2 books. I started 2 shows. I, wrote for countless magazines, and it was like, and I still did all my other stuff, but I just found all this new energy, and it's like, I'm proud of myself again, and
you should be.
That's key though. When we feel proud of what we're doing and proud of who we are, not just proud, because I know we are, we're proud of our children. We're proud of being mothers. We're proud of our families, as we should be. But there's something really different when we step into, as women, as mothers, because that's what this space is for, finding that proud like of you. You know what I mean? That pride in yourself again that we kind of lose a little bit. And when you do step into that, it's like it's freaking magical. You
It
know,
is.
it's
Yeah.
powerful, and it's one of the best gifts we can give our families and our children and ourselves. So,
Yeah.
I mean, getting into the question then for like what you did about it, what exactly were your steps then in this moment? What exactly did you do?
So one of the things I did is I did a lot of journaling and soul searching on what is the vision? Who is it I want to become? And I really used that vision to guide me. And I went back to, you know, what is my ultimate goal? Because my ultimate goal was not money. It was, doing these things. And what it came down to is my goal is impact. I want to impact a million lives or more. And so that became my driving force. And that became the cornerstone to every decision that I made. Is this allowing me to fulfill that vision of impacting? So I just started looking at then what are all the ways that I can impact? I love to write. I've always been a writer. So, leaning in and doing more articles so that I could share my journey, my messages with, other working moms, which led to the book. I love, to interview people and to, do these. So that's what started the shows that I had, being able to get on stages. So the other big thing that I did that was something I had not done before because of, again, fear, is I started sharing my vision with others. And I think so many times we hold back, and we could hold back because of the fears that we have inside. I also think that we have been told many times that when we talk about ourselves, it's egotistical and, oh, look at her and all these things. And, oh, she's not just happy enough being a mom. And it's like, saying F it to all of that judgment that came in and, really learning to do that. So I think by just kind of laying out and really sharing that, but then also the next part, because after you share, I had to start asking for help. I had to start asking for connections in what I'm doing. And at this point in time, I was, almost 50. It was almost like I was a beginner again in this new chapter, and asking for help. That's something that doesn't always come easy for us. So showing that vulnerability was a big part of it too.
It's difficult at this age, and when you've been in it for so long, right, to ask for help once you get there.
Yeah. And what I found is that when I said F it to all those things, the abundance, just the floodgates opened.
Yes. It definitely was. I think at least for myself, it wasn't until I became a mom that I realized, actually trying to do all this shit myself is not like, it's not helping anybody. Like I'm going to be more powerful if people help me, and people want to help. Like let
Right.
them help, so take advantage of it. Like it's just getting too old for this shit, let people help.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's part of, I think, is, maturity as we grow older. But also, I think we just get to the point where we just have to realize we can't do it all. We have to do what I call surrender the cape. Let's get rid of that Wonder Woman, cape, and let's start, knowing that we're stronger when we come together. But when I started sharing my vision, I noticed that people got excited because people want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And then as I then said, who do you know that can help me? It was like here and here and here and here, and opportunities just started coming together. This opportunity to be with you here came from me sharing my vision and asking for help, because one of our dear friends, Leslie, connected us together.
Community, like, let's come together, let's bond
Yeah.
together, let's share our stories, because if we hold those truths and those stories to ourselves, we're not helping each other out. We're not helping women out. We're not helping mothers out. We're not letting
Nope.
you know you're not
Yeah.
alone. We're not inspiring.
Mhm.
We're just walking silently with our truths and our stories. And what does that do? What does that
Exactly.
And
do?
we're most importantly not helping ourselves out.
No.
Not at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's like we're keeping that such a distance from who we are. Like we need to share those stories because then you become even more. It makes you feel less alone too. When you start sharing these stories, there are other people out there that are feeling like you, even if it's one. That's all that matters. Even
That's
if
all
it's
that
one.
matters.
Yeah, I'm curious to know, like when you decided to say "F it," how did it make you feel? What were the emotions going through?
The first emotion was sheer terror, because it's like, okay, well, now I've actually got to do something. And, I've proclaimed this new chapter. And I was like, oh, crap, what if it doesn't work out? So there was a lot of fear in that. But then once I started laying it out and really looking at it again, and I'm looking at it in front of me right now. I did mind mapping with the whole thing of here's my vision of impacting, and here are all the ways. I started feeling like, I can totally do this. It is well within reach. And listening to the fact that, and being able to own that I'm good at what I do and I have a lot of value to bring. And so I think it brought a lot of strength, inner strength in me. It brought in a lot of belief in myself. Um, Taught me the power of surrendering. I have found I'm so much just happier and more free.
I mean, isn't it when you get to those points where things just start snowballing?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you finally get into that space, it really is when you start to attract what you're putting out.
Absolutely.
So that's why it is really important. Trust
Yeah.
me, it's a lesson that I'm trying to, I'm reminding myself of that right now in the thick of all of what I'm going
He
through.
says it, it's like a reminder. Yeah.
It is, but I remember
Exactly.
when I've been in her shoes and like
Mm-hmm.
have been positive, all it like when it rains, it pours, whether negative or positive, it
Yeah.
rains, it pours.
Yeah. And what I found is I I have more energy to do more things. Like I'll tell people what I'm doing and they're like, "Oh my god, how are you not exhausted?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I love mornings. I love Monday mornings." And because it's like I have the ability to get out there and impact.
If you're doing what you love, that energy is like in you. It's the doing
Mm-hmm.
what you don't love and not living in your truth that will wear you down. And my sister, my stepsister is going to be on the show as well. I was with her this weekend, and I loved how she just kept saying, all I think about is my legacy, my
Mm-hmm.
legacy." Like
Yeah.
what, and I was like, that's powerful. Like as a mom, that's what she was like concerned about. It's not all the stuff we think about, but what are we
Mm-hmm.
leaving? What are
Yeah.
we working to leave? And that brings up the next question, which is, what did it do for your family by having this effort moment? How did it impact your family?
Well, I'm a single mom. So, one of the things that I really noticed is it really started to change the way that my son started showing up. One of the things, he's now 18 and he sends me motivational quotes every day because he's getting into that mindset work and that entrepreneurial spirit. I found that it brought us closer together because again, I was excited and we were sort of sharing these things together. And I actually had a moment because last week I was in Madrid speaking at a conference, and it just so happened that I needed to fly out on his birthday. So my first thought was, bad mom, can't leave on my son's 18th birthday. So when I sat down and I was talking with him and saying, I don't know if I'm going to take the opportunity, his response was, "You have to go do this. And you know what I want for my birthday, mom, is I want you to be happy and live what your truth is." So I think as I started to do it, again, I saw the ripple effect. I see it in my two sisters who are also entrepreneurs, and I'm being able to help them and bring them along. I'm bonding more with my mom. One of my first guests on my show was my mother, talking about, because I talk about women in success and growing up in the 50s. So I think it really it changed everything. But I think if anything, it brought me so much closer to those who I love. And it also, I think, sent them messages that they can accomplish whatever they want to.
Wow.
I love that. I mean, even Carla and I went live on our Instagram for anybody who's listening. We went live this weekend. And Carla, I think for you too, you guys had that huge effort moment. It brought you and your husband closer. And it's amazing what these moments do. You don't realize the
Mhm.
way it can change dynamics, right? Or like
Mhm.
if you don't shake it up, you don't know what is possible for you in these
Mhm.
relationships with your family members, whether it
Yeah.
be your children, your partner, your parents, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then I also saw it trickle over into my professional world too, because I started noticing that when I was speaking, the feedback I would get from the audience were like 10 out of 10s, off the charts, the best speaker I ever saw. And even though I got good evaluations before, I could just sense a deeper connection on the stage.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does. It just affects like every single aspect in every relationship. It could do the opposite too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be like flying high, and then it'll push away those people that are just not ready
Oh,
for it.
certainly.
You know?
And I did. There are some people who I have limited association with these days because they saw what I was doing as abandoning my child,
Right.
and saying F it to those judgments, because at the end of the day, they don't know what's on the inside. I have an
Yeah.
amazing relationship with my son. Yes, I'm on the road 30, 35 weeks out of the year, but you know what? I am present with him in some shape or form every day. And he and I are good. So I don't have to listen to that noise.
You could be home and checked out. It's
Totally.
not
Yeah.
about where you physically are. There
Mhm.
are parents that are at home, stay-at-home parents, not working, not going after their
Mhm.
careers, dedicating their home to, and that's, still not fully present with their children. So as long as your mindset is like, I'm
Yeah.
actively
Mhm.
building a relationship wherever you are, I think it's so great that you're saying this, because I think you
Mhm.
said something about how people are saying like, oh, it's not enough to be a parent. For some of us, it's not enough. And we're better parents by saying that.
I love what I do.
But I think because you love what you do, it allows you to be present because
Yes.
you are confident in what it is that you're doing. You're happy with what it is that you're doing. You have
Mhm.
abundance because you're happy with what you're doing. So when you have those moments where you are with your son or with whoever, you can be present because all of
Mhm.
that shit is solid. Like
Absolutely.
it's when it's not that it's very hard to be present because you got all those other worries and fears and all that sort of stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah, like Romy said, you could be physically across the table from someone and not be
Not
there.
be present.
I
Mhm.
mean, that's what happens to so many marriages, right? When they're not honest with themselves or true to themselves,
Mhm.
you see two people sitting at a table and you're like, damn, was any one of them home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
end of the day, there's always going to be people who don't understand what you're
Oh,
doing and don't care to. And what do we say to them?
F
F
it.
Yeah.
it.
F it. Like, if you're not
Mhm.
on board, you can F and go. If you're on board,
Exactly.
you
And
can F
that's
and
okay.
join. Like,
It's
yes.
okay. That's it. They're on their own journey. And,
Yes.
Yep.
that's perfectly okay. But I think you have to, again, have the confidence in yourself to be able to let go, because you have to make room for the right people in your
Mhm.
circle.
Yes. Yes, that's absolutely true. The next question I have for you is now that you are on this path and you're moving forward and you feel, you're successful and all of that, do you have any fears that come up for you now? And the second leg to that is how do you stay in your effort momentum moving forward and not allowing any past fears to seep back in?
Okay. Great question. So, first and foremost, fear is normal. So, for somebody to say they aren't fearful, that's a bunch of crap, because fear is normal. But one of the things that my mentor taught me a long time ago is that fear is the absence of love. And that when you are focused on delivering value, you don't have to be afraid. So, yes, I still feel fear. Every time, I go to do a pitch, or if I'm, going and approaching, a stage that I haven't been on before, there's always going to be some fears in there. So I always ground myself by focusing on what is the value I am delivering. Because when I can focus on bringing value, just like it was said before, even if it's that one person, I don't have to be afraid. So, yeah, there's fear there, but lean into the value and you don't have to worry about it as much. Yeah, and I think going back to my vision, again, really having that front and center. So every decision that I make when I'm offered an opportunity, is this going to move me towards my vision or away from my vision? And
Mhm.
that helps to make sure that I'm staying in the right lane of what I need to do. And I'm also staying connected with it, because then it's, every day, what am I doing today to be the person I need to be to achieve this vision of impacting a million lives?
Hmm. I think that's really important because I think when you're in like a scarcity mindset and a fearful mindset, you kind of like can also grab at straws and be like, okay, what can I do? What can I do right now to like just help me? And that resonates with me because it's like being in a new environment, I'm like, what can I do to just like get by? But having to stop myself and be like, but that doesn't really do it for me what I ultimately want to do. Like, why waste the energy and the time if I know for a fact in my heart that's not what I want and it's not going to get me there?
Yeah.
So it's not about the money, like, even though it helps. At the end of the day, I want to be working towards what I'm ultimately meant to do, which is similar to you, is to impact and to create a
Mhm.
difference and to motivate. So yeah, like that, it's definitely an important point that you made there.
Yeah. And I would say one of the things, and again, money's amazing and we all need money, but not
It's
having that
freedom.
attachment to it. And
Yeah.
again, leading with the value, the money will
Yeah.
follow.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
that's like so many of the podcasts that we listen to and Jay Shetty and all that and all the speakers that we listen to, and they talk about it. Like if that's your goal, just money, you're not going to get there. I mean, it's not that right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like we all want the money, but if that's your reason for doing it, yeah. No, you got to have way more than that to actually
Mhm.
get there. And then the money's the perk on it, But
Mhm.
that's the reminder to me when I'm thinking about all the things we want to do as well. I'm so grateful for your story and I love your energy. And I just like your confidence is exactly the type of energy that Carla and I are like here
Yeah. It's
for. As
infectious.
it is. It
Thank
really
you.
is. You just like speaking to you and you're like, yeah, I feel like a badass, I feel good. Like we're women, like I love that vibe.
Well, a lot, it's been a lot of a journey getting there. And I can't say I
Yeah.
always did that. But when you get there, I think when you're walking in your truth, again,
Yeah. And
Mhm.
people feel it. Like we feel it. I'm just meeting you for the first time and I feel it, and it's such a inspiring thing to get off of somebody. So I know anyone listening is going to feel that as well, hopefully. And the last question to this would be, what is your advice to someone listening right now? Like, what would you tell somebody who is on the edge of
Mhm.
having this or wants to have it?
Yeah. Believe in yourself, take chances, lean really, really, again, focus on living your truth. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen today. And again, there were times where being a single mom, it was scraping together those pennies, and really living on that tight budget. But every day I still did something towards the bigger goal. And
Yes.
even though it took me some time to get there. So don't get discouraged. It's not about getting there tomorrow or the next day. It's about the journey. So again, knowing these, one of the things I heard, I'm going through the book, Monsters in Your Head by Kevin Hart. And one of the things that I loved that he said is your bottoms are a blessing. So,
Yes.
and understanding that you might feel lost. You might feel like you don't even know how to get there. All of that is fine. Surround yourself with people, believe in yourself, and every day take one step forward and you'll work towards it.
Okay, I'm the person that's in the car listening right now because you're literally speaking to me. Like I am the person hearing that from you right now. It's like Carla, we've said this. Sometimes we come on here on Monday and I'm like, man, I really needed to hear that. I really did. I am also a single mom. I am scraping by and every day, like when I want this, I get here after work and I jump on this podcast because it means something to me. And that like reminder when you don't want to do those things, just keep going.
You have to believe. I mean, I'm putting business together now from relationships that I made 15 years ago, but it was all part of the process and it does work and you have to trust the process, which is very hard when you're in it, but you got to trust the process. And then you have to show up and do the work.
Yep.
Yeah. Even if, like you said, even if it's just one little step a day, even if it's like 5 minutes to 10 minutes of like working on that. Like for me, it's a book I'm wanting to write for myself. I did like 5 to 10 minutes of it today. Hey, I did something like that will get me there. It might take a while, but it'll get me there. So as long as you keep doing the things that you really sing to your heart, you will get there.
Exactly. So. And I just finished my 3rd book. So if you need help, you just let me know.
Oh, all right.
And I have a stack of journals on this desk to write my book. So now you both have inspired me to do my 10 minutes a day because I need to just start. I stare at them every day and I'm like,
Yep. Just do a little bit, even if it's just a sentence. You just you feel that momentum and it starts going.
Yeah.
We are so grateful that you joined us. Again, Leslie, Lou, you glorious human being, you. We love you for sending us these amazing women. Thank you for taking the time on this Monday to share your story with us and all the madres that are listening. Like, again, by you sharing, you just inspire so many. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for creating a platform of truth and honesty where we can, shed our vulnerability and help each other. So I honor both of you for what you're doing as well.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to us. We really just want to just like how we like to get motivated, inspired. We want to be able to have something that helps to motivate and inspire other women because I always say us together, we could rule the fucking world. So
Exactly.
We're on the mission. So this is there anywhere that people can find you? Go ahead and shout out all your links, places that people can find your work. Go ahead and share it.
Yeah. So the best place to go is just my website, which is just claracapano.com. And on there, they can get access to my shows. They can get on the wait list for the launch of my new book, as well as buy my other books. And on social media, just Clara Capano. I have on-demand courses and all that stuff. So if they just kind of Google my name, they're going to find me everywhere.
Wow.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Killing it. All right. Well, this is the end where we all just say,
just F it.